time. You're in your rig right now, headed down I-84 thinking, okay, what am I about to get into? Well, we'll tell you. We have Boise State's offensive coordinator, former All-American left tackle, and current Boise State Hall of Famer, Nate Potter, in studio. And we're going to talk a whole bunch of football to get you home and ready for your weekend. Coach Potter, heck yeah, man. Welcome to the Rope Paint Studio. I know you see pictures of ex-teammates all over the place, and this is going to be fun. Coach Nate Potter, what's going on, man?
That was great to be here. First time. I'm enjoying it. Taking it all in right now.
This is where we work every day, man.
Yeah, not a bad gig.
You could handle a place like this, Potter?
I think so. Yeah, I think so. It's got a little man cave vibe to it.
It does, man.
First thing he noticed was Kellen Moore in the bed of roses. He said he's never seen that picture. He stopped and stared at it for like 30 seconds. I don't know what kind of opinions were dancing around in his head, but something was going on up in that head of yours there, Coach.
It just caught me off guard. Like I said, I didn't think that existed. But it's good to know it does.
Right?
Yeah.
Kellen Moore on a bed of roses. I can't believe they convinced him to do that.
No
you
doubt.
know him real well. We'll talk about that, but we've been talking combine all week, and Ahmed Hassanin, Ashton Jeanty going there trying to make their journey to the NFL. You were a combine invite. You went there and worked out, was drafted by the Cardinals. And what we've been talking about all week was, first off, in 2011 and 2012, collectively, there's 12 Broncos that were at the NFL Scouting Combine. In 2012 alone, your year, Nate Potter, you and a half dozen teammates went to the Combine. And I just got my first question, just, wow, what was that like where Boise State was able to really, for the first time, flex its muscles at an event like the NFL Combine, saying, dude, we put pros out there too?
Yeah, I think it was, just that time frame. It was just a special place to be. I was surrounded by great players. You can see that. And it was just fun. It was rewarding, I think, for the program, for the university. And those guys, very talented. They were very deserving. And I'm looking at the list of names right now, just reminding myself, and I was by far the worst on that list.
Oh, Potter.
Right
Potter, actually, there was one person on the list that didn't get drafted. That's it. Of the 7 invites, one didn't get drafted. You know who it was?
Yeah, it's the head coach of the Saints, I think. Yeah, he's doing all right.
That makes me laugh. That makes me laugh. And the year before, it was Jerron Johnson didn't get drafted. Everybody else played like 1,000 games and made like $150 million in the NFL. And Jerron Johnson and poor Kellen Moore, but I think that they both did okay.
Absolutely. I think so. Yeah, I think it all worked out.
Absolutely. I mean, what is the Combine like? Ashton Jeanty's going through it. Ahmed went through it. You obviously go through it. And as a coach, I mean, I don't know if you lend a helping hand if Jeanty or Ahmed would ask, and what is this experience? But, for you, what was it like, you and your 6 teammates at the time, and your experience at the NFL Combine?
Yeah, I think, as a outsider looking in, you think it's just one day of drills, really. And the reality is it's 4 or 5 days long.
Okay.
And a big part of it is medical, it's interviews, and a small part of it is what you're seeing on the field. And I think going into that, I was naive, and I didn't realize how much time you're going to be, spending at the hospital doing MRIs, getting checked by doctors. There's a lot of hurry up and wait. There's a lot of time that you're spending and not sleeping. So there's a lot of those things that you don't know going into it. And so when players ask me what it's like, I kind of give them the full rundown. Like, this is what you got to be prepared for. The on-the-field stuff, like I said, is just a small portion of what you really do during the Combine experience.
Nate Potter, Boise State's new offensive coordinator. We're going to dive into Boise State's offense, this transition of power from Dirk Cutter to Nate Potter, maybe talk a little Ashton Jeanty, but a couple more quick questions about the Combine. What do you remember about your performance? What do you remember about you and how you did? I can go look up the numbers here real quick if you need a reminder.
No, I don't.
I'm not sure. Did you break 5 on the 40?
No.
40 bench press? But stats aside, just what do you remember? What's your memories of that in terms of your interaction there?
Yeah, I think as far as my performance, I think my mom calling me afterward and telling me I look slow at the start of my 40 was not a good sign for my time.
I'm looking now all of a sudden.
Yeah, it's not good. Don't look it up. It's pretty slow. I might as well walk it, I think, at that point.
You're a left tackle, though.
Yeah,
you don't have to run.
Right, exactly.
Come on.
Exactly. But, it's funny because you got all these other guys that I played with that were there. I actually didn't see a lot of those guys because they do, once you get with your position, you're with those guys through that whole process. So you kind of run into your teammates in the hallway or something like that, going to the next thing. But yeah, I didn't do as well as I hoped. But to your point, an O-lineman doesn't need to run a 4.40, thank goodness. So it all worked out.
Have you had a chance? I know you guys have been busy and in meetings, and you launch fall camp here in about 9 days, and you guys are just slammed with this transition to power with this new roster, 18 new players. I can't wait to start talking about some of your new weapons and your new toys. But have you had a chance to look at Ahmed and or Ashton and check out whether it's the 10 seconds on TV or maybe even talking to them on the phone, how they've been doing? Ahmed looked like he had pretty good results yesterday. He didn't knock it out of the park, but Ahmed just keeps on grinding, and Ashton Jeanty hit a lot of home runs today in the media interviews.
Yeah, I think it was fun yesterday. We're busy doing a lot of different things, but we were able to kind of slow down and watch some of what Ahmed did in drills and how he performed in the 40, and he did exactly as we all expected. I mean, that's who he is, and I think there's that clip that's kind of going around of him fired up before one of those drills. And
yeah.
I love that because that's him. That's authentic, and he loves the game of football. He's passionate about it, and it showed, and I think he helped himself a lot yesterday.
Nate Potter with us, Boise State offensive coordinator in the RowPaint.com studio. The transition of power from Dirk Cutter to Nate Potter in the last however many days. How would you describe it? What's it been like being the OC for almost 3 months?
It's been good. It's been a little bit of a whirlwind in some ways. There's a lot of things I got to learn, but I have a lot of great people around me, great coaches around me. Obviously, being able to work with Dirk for as long as I did, I learned a lot through that. But a big part of this transition is going to be a little bit of trial and error. It's going to be going out and spring ball and practicing and getting our feet on the ground and learning from that. But the college football these days, it's every day. So it never stops. And it's been a lot of fun to kind of get my hand in different areas that I haven't been involved with in the past as far as just scheme and certain things like that. So it's been good.
I mean, you're a Boise State Hall of Famer. You're the pride of Timberline High School. I mean, nobody wants this offense to be better. Nobody cares about this thing more than Nate Potter, not Steve in his truck driving down the highway right now. I mean, this is your thing now. And you talked about Dirk. We've talked about Dirk. Was there, I don't know if it was in place, but what was there, Nate, last year between you and Dirk where maybe Dirk would do something with you that he wouldn't have done with the typical tight ends coach? I mean, was there kind of a process of him saying, knowing you were probably going to get the gig and to kind of help you get your feet wet last season? What was that like?
Yeah, I think there was a lot of trust there from Dirk, and he allowed me to come up with a big part of the game plan and implement it. And he didn't doubt it. He trusted me, and he valued my opinion. He wanted my opinion. He asked for it. So that was huge for my growth, for my confidence. But it's really him kind of giving me the reins in certain areas and just letting me go with it, good or bad. And that kind of helped me, evolve as a coach and eventually into this role.
This is going to be an uncomfortable question for you because you don't like to talk about yourself. But as this transition was going on, and we joked here in Sports Talk Radio Weirdness that it was the worst kept secret, that, this was going to be, the ultimate goal. And at one point, myself, Johnny, listeners, Sam in his truck driving to Marsing, whoever's listening to right now, there was some skepticism about this because of the unknown, not because of who you are or your ability or your talent. Just having not seen it. I mean, you dabbled with it in Montana State a little bit. You came down here, you've got good results. Your background, your playing career all speaks for itself, but the unknown of you taking over as offensive coordinator. Just kind of talk us off that ledge just a little bit in terms of, we heard Dirk Cutter earlier on our show talking about you and why we should all have confidence in you. How would you answer that question?
Yeah, no, it's a great question. And I think, like I said before, I have great coaches around me that are very involved in what we do. I value their opinion, their input, and so that's a huge help. I think I care tremendously about this program, about this offense. I've spent half my life at Boise State, so it means a lot to me. So I'm willing to do whatever it takes and part of this is doing it, right? You gotta get out there. You gotta do it. You gotta learn from it. But I'm excited for that challenge, and I think I'm ready, and I know the guys around me are ready for it.
Again, Nate Potter, Boise State Hall of Famer, with us in studio today, talking a little NFL Combine, a little football here, with Nate Potter. And I mean, Spencer Danielson, I mean, he could have hired a lot of people to be the Boise State offensive coordinator. That is a position of the utmost respect in college football. He trusts you, Nate. You're his guy. He loves keeping it in the family. We like that about him. It's worked so far. What's it mean to Nate Potter for Spencer Danielson to trust you with this offense? He doesn't bark at the offensive guy. He's the defensive guy. He's told us that. Like, he's giving you this thing. What's that mean?
It's a huge honor. It really is. And I think there's a lot of mutual respect between both of us. And I know that it's a big challenge as well. So I'm excited about it, but I think it's just all the years that we've been around each other and what we've been through, those experiences. And again, it goes back to that trust factor, but it's a huge honor. Anytime somebody like Spencer gives you this opportunity, man, you got to be appreciative and grateful.
Heck yeah.
Boise State offensive coordinator Nate Potter. All right, after this interview, we're going to spend the next 10 months asking you at press conferences about your players and about your offense. Let me ask one more about you before we kind of move on to some other things. If this process started last August and maybe even before that, as you've been building your career for many, many years, maybe over the last 2 months, what have you done specifically to make yourself better for this job?
Yeah, I think ask a lot of questions. There's some things that I don't know well enough that I want to know better. I want to grow in certain areas. So I'm asking a lot of questions, whoever it may be, and just trying to learn and soak it all up. And a big part of this role is getting organized. And so that's kind of what I've been focused on the last couple of months, is making sure I'm organized to help everybody around me.
One of the things that Dirk Cutter said over and over and over again was, this is not an old man's game anymore. It's a young man's game. He also admits that he doesn't really know as much about football, modern day football today, like the RPO. He talks specifically about the run and the spacing and that kind of stuff. And he says, Maddox Madsen needs a new, fresh set of ideas. This offense needs a new, fresh set of ideas. I'm assuming you wouldn't have got that job if you didn't have a new, fresh set of ideas. Can you see yourself putting those kind of wrinkles on it, or maybe Dirk Cutter didn't?
Yeah, definitely. There's some areas that we need to get better at within our offense that I think we're focused on, and part of that is using Mad Dog skills. And he's done those RPOs in the past. He has that ability. So it's finding different ways to get him involved in different areas of the game plan, but also the other skill positions, the other guys on our offense. We want everybody to have a role, to have a say in how we operate. And a big part of that is finding different ways to get the ball outside, via RPOs, maybe it's screens. There's a lot of different things that we're looking at right now.
And then Nate Potter with us, Boise State offensive coordinator in the rowpaint.com studio here on Prater in the Ballgame. Yeah, I mean, what do you want your relationship to be with your quarterback? I know you're tight end, you're an offensive lineman, but all linemen know quarterbacks better than anybody. And you and Kellen Moore's relationship here was well documented. And I mean, what's it for you, Nate Potter, like, running the football and whatnot, like the relationship you're going to have with that quarterback? What do you want it to be? How close are you and Mad Dog do you want this thing to be?
You got to be very close.
Okay.
That's critical. You can't talk about how important that relationship is, because there's got to be a lot of communication consistently about what he likes, what he's feeling, about what are the other guys, how they're dealing with what we're doing. And that's happening on a daily basis. That's happening within a game. So that relationship is critical, and it's getting on the same page constantly. And that's a lot of what I'm learning as I'm going, is how is this going to operate during the season and what that looks like. And a big part of that is just always being on the same page with him. And so that's both of us talking every day.
Real quick, Nate, are you going to be up top? You're going to be on the sideline? Is that decision still in your head?
I'm going to be up top.
Oh, cool.
Yep, I'm going to be up top. And like I said, we got great assistant coaches. Zach
like
Hill's
it up
back.
Top. Cutter likes it up top. So,
oh,
yeah.
There's a lot that you can do from that vantage point. And I trust everybody on the field is going to be able to support our quarterbacks, our other players, and we have that communication, so we'll be fine.
So if you and Maddox Madsen need to be on the same page all the time, I'm assuming that you approve of this new sleek, efficient haircut that he got the other day. I mean, he looks like he's a hell of a lot faster now than he was last year.
That's what I told him. I told him that in the weight room the other day when I saw him after the haircut. I think he's ready to roll.
There you go. So what do we need to know about Nate Potter, the human being? We promised our listeners that we would make you laugh, we would joke, we would make you blush, we would try to find some dirty family secrets, but a beautiful wife, a beautiful family, athletic family, 2 boys, 2 future football players. We were joking before you came in here that maybe you were a country music guy. I think you kind of mocked us for that. So what do we need to know about Nate Potter? Starting with, if I went out to your car right now, what's on your radio station?
Yeah.
Other than KTIK.
No, honestly, I like everything. I like everything, and classic rock to country to hip hop. I mean,
yeah,
reggae. If it's good, it's good. That's always been my motto. And I grew up in a household, where my dad was playing anything and everything. So
okay, your dad's a big music guy.
Oh, big
loves
music guy.
music. Okay.
Oh yeah, if you ask him, play a song from a 40-year span, he could tell you the band.
Got to get him
song.
on Rock Jocks, bro.
Oh yeah,
Mr.
he would have crushed that.
If you're listening,
yeah,
you're next. We'll get you in
that's his secret talent. So
what's your number one jam then? If you had number one jam, if you're on a desert island, which one are you taking with you?
You can't. That's a
tough
hard
one for
That's
you.
a tough one. There's
10 million songs.
Yeah,
but pick one, Potter.
It's hard to pick your favorite. But no, like I said, I like everything, and family's very important to me. I got a 3-year-old boy and a 9-month-old boy, and so we're just getting started. It's a little bit chaotic over at our house, but unfortunately, I think they're going to be linemen in the future, just based on size right now.
The Potter boys.
Yeah, they're going to be big dogs like their dad.
And your wife was athletic at basketball player, college basketball player.
Yeah, she college basketball. She just beat me the other day in ping pong, horse. I mean, every game.
And she legit beats you at athletics.
Oh, absolutely. Like obviously, if there was no fouls called or things like that, I'd probably win in a one-on-one situation.
Oh, okay.
She shoots the lights out, so I don't even try anymore.
Does that mean there's a hoop in the driveway? Is that where?
There right now we got the little hoops,
the little hoops inside the living room.
Yeah, and that's what we do on a lot of evenings. But my wife is the rock of the family. If anybody that's listening knows her, they know that she's a rock star. She's a lot smarter, a lot cooler than me.
Better
athlete.
I
think my friends like her more than they like me. It's that type of situation. So I'm just trying to hang on.
It's so funny he said that, because when we started talking about this interview earlier on the show today, we asked our texters, hey, if anybody knows Nate, or anything, because he's a local guy, text us something about Nate Potter. The 3 first texts were about Shauna, his wife.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, ask him of how good his wife is at basketball.
Yeah.
Ask him about he married his high school sweetheart. Like, it was all about his wife. Like, he's not lying. Shauna Potter.
No, she's the real
very
one.
popular lady in town.
Yes.
I love that. I love that.
So.
If you're an Idaho kid, and I don't know what you do when you get away, but it seems like you're the kind of guy that if you got a week, you're going to try to get away. What's your favorite Idaho getaway spot? I mean, you're not a camper, fisher, hunter guy, I don't think, but a condo in the mountains or a skier or anything?
Yeah. You know what? I don't, we joke about this all the time. Us football coaches, we don't have a lot of hobbies. That's really football's it for us and family. But if we get away, we like going up to McCall. We like going to Redfish. We like going to Sun Valley. We like going camping just out past Arrow Rock.
Okay.
There's a lot of little local spots like that we like going to just to get away. Unfortunately, I don't get out on the ski slopes these days anymore. I don't know if I could get back up, but we take advantage of just, Idaho's beauty and just being outside as much as we can.
I want to do a quick role play with Boise State offensive coordinator Nate Potter.
He's going to love this.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give you an imaginary phone call, and I'm Kellen Moore, head coach of the Saints, longtime close friends, member of the same Hall of Fame class as Nate Potter
with Paul J. Schneider.
One of the great Hall of Fame classes ever.
This is the Paul J. Schneider building. Did you notice that when you walked in?
I did not.
The sign's right there when you walk in. You'll see it. Okay, so ring, 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 ring.
Uh-oh.
Ring, ring, ring,
Hello?
ring, ring, ring. Nate, hey, man, it's Kellen. What's going on, bro?
What's up, Kellen?
Okay, Nate, cut to the chase here, man. I have the 9th pick in the draft. I love Jeanty. What's not to love? But I just don't know if I can pull the trigger. Nate Dogg, my greatest left tackle ever. Why should I take this kid?
Because he's the best player in the draft, and he's a home run. Can't miss. And if you and Kellen, if I'm talking to him, he's already watched all the film. He's already done his homework. So I'm just like, what are we talking about? Just take him.
Okay, that's what you would say to him.
Just take him.
Did his homework include a telephone call to you?
No. He doesn't need my opinion. I think if he wants him, take him.
Yeah, I mean, what you guys are. I mean, you're a major offensive coordinator at a major football school. He's the first, Boise State former player to ever become a head coach in the NFL, which is monster too. But what is when you guys do have a chance to talk? Is it family and life? Is it, hey man, how do you make the cover 2 quicker? How do I get my quarterback to recognize it from the safety, whatnot? Like, what do you guys talk about when you talk to Kellen?
Honestly, these days a lot of it's reminiscing, and kind of catching up about old times and old friends and old teammates and catching up about family. And then there's always some football mixed in. That's how it's always been.
Yeah.
But usually goes to stories. Like, do you remember this walkthrough in 2009 when so-and-so did this? And I think that's a cool thing about Boise State, about our experience, is that never changes. Whenever we get a chance to connect, we're always talking about the good old days in some aspects, and then getting caught up on life and how everybody's doing.
There's a lot of talent in the cupboard on that offense, as you know, Nate Potter. We cannot wait to see what's going to go on. And now we get to start a couple days earlier. Guys kicking off on Thursday of that Labor Day weekend at South Florida rather than Saturday. And we're going to be with you every step of the way, Coach.
Love it.
There's Nate Potter, Boise State offensive coordinator and the pride of Timberline High School. And that is why you listen to Idaho Sports Talk.